So today for Relocate with Lori Robin, we are going to magically produce a puppy out of our lap. This is Professor Poppy. He's always in my lap when I'm at my desk. He also does not like sharing attention, so he's protesting formally. Look at that face. So today we are going to first chat about wanting do-overs. This message has really come up for me a few times in the past few months, but really coming up today that there are probably a lot of us who wish we had a do-over button. See, Teddy does. He said he needs to go back to bed. And how we can really give ourselves permission to have those thoughts and to feel into it. And then also to then take actions on what that could be like to give ourselves a do-over. So it often really feels like that means you have to start over everything. Like, pretend you didn't watch Butterfly Effect as a middle schooler or high schooler, and you go all the way back to your birth and then change things and pretend that you didn't know that. Oh wait, maybe someone did that and that's why we have this clusterfuck right now. But anyway, so you don't have to necessarily think of a redo as going all the way back. It could really be a redo and a reset for what you're experiencing now and how you move forward. And so just wanted to bring that conversation up, and the rest of this week's resources and conversations that are going to be on my Instagram page at Improviding are going to be about how to take some first steps to even dream about that. What would your redo be like? And so a few things that we could really think about, even like today, is how do you know when you literally can't even? How do you know when it's time for a do-over? What we might think of first are all the outside voices telling us, like, you're just, like, struggle bussing, or you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right. But those are really the same voices that probably told us how to get to where we are now that we're not so happy with. And I say that to say that there's so much power in returning back to yourself. It's also a luxury and not accessible for everyone, so I totally acknowledge the privilege that I even have to be thinking these thoughts. But I also then feel called to share this message out as an invitation for other people to consider this for themselves. And so what we're going to do now is have a really integrative body movement session of really noticing where our attention lies in our body, maybe some ailments that you just feel often. Just moving my stuff out of the way. And what would it be like if those things were really actually communicating to you their needs? This is something that's part of a larger practice called social presencing theater, which is really essentially that our bodies can communicate to us. We just lose that ability to communicate back and to listen and speak the same language over time because we're told that essentially we're being weird if we try to do any of these things. And so we're gonna have a practice of really seeing what comes up and how you would know that it's time for a redo. Beyond, if you're not at the point of already thinking, I need a redo, because sometimes we won't even be that bold to think about it that way. Teddy's gonna be sad. He's gotta get on the ground with me. But yeah, so we're just gonna play around today and see what comes up. I don't know what'll come up. Sort of the whole point is just seeing what happens. So we're going, oh look, we're relocating. Dad joke of the day. Alright, we're gonna relocate. You guys are going to go on my meditation ottoman. I got my dress on. Why? Because I'm sitting on my desk at conference calls all day. Ooh, that's gonna be too high. You know what we're gonna do? We're going to, a blanket on you. It's probably not as cold where you are. You don't want a blanket. There we go. That's good enough. Behind me is where I keep all my craft stuff, and my wedding dress is in that fancy bag, just for all of you ADDers like me who want to know what you're seeing. Alright, so, Honey's joining us now. We get all the babies. Look at that face. They always join me when I do any kind of energy work. So, today we're going to be doing the intro to social presencing theater. We can be, or call it SPT. And so this is really how to describe it. We're just going to do it. I would say, just to prepare you for what it is, it's going to look like a very minimal amount of moving, but it actually can end up being a really big experience in your body once you get out of your headspace of like, what the fuck am I doing? Because the first few times it's like, I don't, like, nothing's happening. What's going on? And so at the end of this experience, my intention in offering it is really hoping that you at least have time to ask yourself a few questions about your accurate location, meaning like where you are right now in the sense of well-being, how you're feeling about that, and have those answers come from deeper inside of you. So we're going to first do a few deep breaths in and out of our noses. Oh, honey wanted to share. And so right now, where in your body do you feel discomfort? This can be discomfort because you don't usually sit down, so maybe somewhere in your back. This could maybe be an upset stomach that you've been ignoring for the past few hours. This could be maybe a headache coming on from sitting under harsh lights in your house all day. Just spend a few more breaths just noticing where your sources of discomfort in your body are. And as you notice where that discomfort is, I want you to imagine that it's a notification. So it's like your body's version of Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe TikTok has notifications. I haven't explored that yet. Just like when we're on our phones, we want to see what the notification is. How can we invite that same curiosity into what our body's notifying us of? Maybe what that looks like is asking, hey, sore spot, what's really going on today? And after a few breaths, what you might notice is an area around that sore spot is going to be hurting a little more. That discomfort or that sensation is going to spread. Allow that to happen and then notice where it moves to. And you don't need to be answering any of the questions audibly or with your words or thoughts. Just see how the sensations and how they're moving through your body are letting you know the next place to ask your next question. Hey body, what's something that I could do to better listen to what you're sharing with me? And this time you're going to slightly move your body very slightly so that way that sensation is alleviated. So a very slight movement and breathe into the new spot. What would it be like to have a redo? What's something that I could do to help you feel like you're part of the process? And notice how your body positioning wants to change. This could be tingles, this could be numbness, this could just be feeling like you don't want to still be sitting where you're sitting. And for the next several breaths, just find whatever small movements end up getting you to a place that you feel like you want to be still. How can you invite your body to give you a few final ways to listen to it, to imagine what it would be like if you didn't have to do this life thing alone, to really dream about what if you could have a do-over and you didn't have to go back to day one. What if today was day one? What if next week was day one? What if anytime you need a day one, you grant yourself permission to have a day one? So I feel complete. I feel a sense of being able to finish out right here, so that way you can either continue with your social presencing moment, acknowledge that my puppies have heard something more exciting than sitting and listening to my body. But then again, full circle yes and moment. They're listening to their bodies. They're hearing things that make them feel like there's something unsafe outside. And they're going to go investigate. Again, harmony. I don't have to go investigate. They let me know what's going on. So if this was something very, very new to you and you did sit through this whole video and practice with me, thank you so much for that vulnerability. If you're sitting here and perhaps thinking, why the fuck did I just do that for 5 minutes? Like nothing happened. That was my first reaction to this months ago when I first, or actually about a year ago now, when I first started this practice. But by the second time I could actually feel into it. And so what I thought was just sitting there and doing something woo-woo actually became a way that I now I have very little to no migraines on a monthly basis, where I was having them daily. I'm able to actually tell when I need to be eating, and more specifically what I should be eating to feel better. Otherwise I had a lot of nausea always. And so those are just the few changes in my body that now I can communicate with. And so during this time of great uncertainty, it can be very empowering for us to realize that we have access to our body wisdom, and that can be our first and most direct guide through this experience of like how we're really experiencing it. And so if you're feeling like you want to redo or do over, that's for a reason. We don't just have those thoughts or feelings for nothing. So really yes-anding that and honoring that happens when we're able to then say, you know what, we really should entertain that. Like what if, and perhaps it becomes a thought experiment and that's that, but at least we're granting ourselves permission to experience that. So I hope that this was an experience. Thank you for relocating to a different place with me today for our commute to community time. And also, just want to share out that you also relocated within yourself, which is really cool and badass and awesome, because we're really told not to do that. So thanks again for tuning in. I hope you have a razzle-dazzle day. I'm going to go get some calories because I'm hungry, and I hope that you dare to dream a little bit today, even when we're being told not to.